Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine Live. I am here because Creative Memories has come out with a bonus sketch for our Creative Memories virtual crop this month. And I thought, well, I went ahead and did the 6 for the regular crop for August, so why not go ahead and do the bonus crop as well? So let me go ahead and switch over and show you all what I've planned for you tonight. Here we go. So this is our bonus sketch. It has this just really kind of neat little edging across here, some stripes going across. They used the brick pages that I just introduced in a live as part of our back to school collection when they did this layout on the Creative Memories blog. However, I am going to turn the sketch a bit. We're going to actually rotate it a little bit, and I am going to use the It's Fall, Y'all collection. I thought, fall is coming. This collection is fabulous, and it's probably going to be heading to last chance, not before too long now. So I thought I'd give everybody one more look at it and a little bit of fun, a different kind of layout. I pulled out, this is actually a laser cut border, double-sided, from our Spiced Plum, which came out in one of the secret boxes last fall. It was a companion collection to the It's Fall, Y'all. It's the only piece I've added just because I thought it really complemented what I have in mind for the design of this page. So I'm going to use it. You know what? You can use what you have on hand. If you still have some of the It's Fall, Y'all stickers, or border stickers that you want to use, you can easily use those. I've pulled a bunch of leaves from the embellishments, as well as a couple of stickers. And then I also did pull this autumn embellishment as well. That's going to go across the top of our page. I am using the gold dot page that has kind of a grid on the back of it, along with a couple of mats I found I still had. And this one is going to be my little title, Autumn Leaves and Pumpkin Please. We are going to cut this mat down to fit on the page better coming up. And then we're going to use this one just as it is. We're just going to pop our 4x6 picture onto a 4.5 by 6.5 inch mat. I just kind of wanted to show an easier, simpler take on the sketch. I also had a couple of scraps from who knows what I've done, but you know how I love using up scraps. So I thought, let me pull out what I've got. You can see I even cut some, I think this was probably from when we were doing pumpkins or something last year, who knows. But we're going to use those scraps, and we're also going to use the olive dotted page as our base. And this one also has a green grid on the back of it. So, oh, thank you so much for joining me, Miss Norma. She loves the plaid paper, and I do too, which is why I picked it. I thought it complemented the mustard dots really well. So let's go ahead and start cutting. I am going to cut the dot sheet first. We are going to cut a 1.5 inch by 12 inch strip first, and then we are going to cut a 4.25 by 4.25 square to use as a photo mat. So 4.25. Let's go ahead and set that piece aside. So I am going to have another scrap for later, but you know what that means. I'll probably be making a card later. In fact, I know I have cards I need to make from the scraps from this past weekend, or the weekend last weekend before. So our 4.25 by 4.25 and 1.5 inch. And then we're also going to, let's see. We need 3/4 inch. Okay, that's what we need. We need 3/4 inch. We need 2 at 3/4 of an inch for the striped paper, and we need 2 at 3/4 of an inch for the plaid paper to run as our stripes. Whoops. Okay, this is why I don't move the paper, because I've learned I don't always use even pressure on my blade. and I need to get better about it, but at least I've trained myself to not move my main part of my paper until I know my strips are done. So that's 2 3/4-inch strips. And actually the second one is off. So I'm going to recut that second piece. Let me actually flip this because I was at an angle somehow. So I am going to, I don't know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to try to line up my stripes as best I can, cut off my circle, and then cut a strip at 3/4. Here we go. Let's do this. I'm going to always say it's easy to fix paper if you make a mistake. You just keep going. There we go. That's better. Okay, so you have 2 3/4-inch of the stripe, and now we're going to do 2 3/4-inch by 12-inch strips of the plaid. Here we go. There's that one. And there's that one. Okay. So I actually have too much of the plaid, but that's okay. It's better to have too much than not enough. We're going to go ahead and set that aside. Let me make sure I've cut everything I need. Just about. I'm switching my cutting strip first, and then I'm going to change my blade to the Victorian blade because remember how I said we were going to cut this mat down a bit? I just want this middle part to frame out my little sticker. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up, and I'm going to grab my cutting guide to make sure I don't cut off any of this pretty frame here. But I just wanted to mimic the kind of the almost crinkled look of the actual design that they have on the mat with the blade that I picked. So that's why I picked the Victorian. And let me bring this in just a little bit more, trying to make sure I stay lined up here, double checking, bring it over just a little bit more. I'm kind of almost going through the little maple leaves that are on the mat here. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish by rounding out these edges as well. But the reason I change over the cutting strip is when I found that when you use one of the decorative blades, which are like our scallop blade or this Victorian blade or the decal blade, and then you try to cut with your straight blade, it doesn't always come out as straight as it would on your regular straight cutting mat. So I just go ahead and use one of my since I've already switched to number 2 on this mat, I just go back to lane number 1. I call them lanes, I guess, because it's easier for me to distinguish them. Our blade always runs on the left side of our trimmer. And so by switching back to number 1, I can cut all the crinkles I want and then go ahead and change it back over to number 2, which is what I was cutting with my straight blade on. Put my straight blade back in, and now I am done with my Victorian blade. It goes underneath into storage, which is such a wonderful feature of our trimmer. So now we have our pieces ready to go for our layout. And let me grab my little sketch I've done for myself. So again, here was our sketch, and I'm actually turning it. So our mat is going to go in a different spot, and all of our strips are going to run just a little bit differently. But on this one, these strips are running vertically. So I want to place my stripe and my plaid first, and then I will place the dot going across the top. And I'm going to kind of put them so they almost mimic each other. So we've got our stripe and our plaid. Let me grab my parchment mat and my repositionable tape because it's a lot easier just to be able to go quickly and not worry about getting tape all over the place here. In fact, my tape was already sticking before I was ready to have it stick here, so it's just as well I use the repositionable because I want to line this up with the left edge of my page. There we go. And then put my plaid on next to it. And here we are. And Norma is eyeing the rake sticker and saying how sweet it is, which it is. She can see it up here. I'll move it down a little bit so everybody else can see it a little bit better. It is super cute. I don't know if we're actually going to use the rake today or not, but we have it if we want to use it. And if not, then I've got it for something else. Mother Day. I do have several other stickers I can combine with it as well from this collection. There's just so many fun sweaters and scarves and boots and all kinds of accessories that they added to this collection and the embellishments and the stickers. It was before I was doing the lives to introduce the collections. So you're just going to have to actually go to the Creative Memories website to check it out. Okay, so there are our 2 strips running across the sides now, and then I'm going to add this golden dot strip across the top here with our laser cut border on top of it. So this is going to show a little bit of our stripes on either side of it. I wonder if I'd taken a little bit off my page before, if that was a scrap or not, who knows. It's okay. I think it still looks good at the top of the page here. Nobody's really going to notice all that much. So let me get some more repositionable tape on here. And this is the other good reason for using the parchment mat, because you can go quick and be a little bit messy with it. So there we go. That fits perfectly on our 1.5 inch golden dot across the top. And I usually don't decorate my whole thing up, but I'm going to actually foam square that one, I think. Okay. Let's see here. Where did I put my other mat? Underneath my sketch. So I wanted my mat down here, and then we're going to put our other picture and our title over here. So it's almost like we have like a little curtain, kind of almost very similar to what I did recently with our, which collection was that? Vivid Melodies? In my Sketch With Me series. You can check it out and see, but that one was a little bit more swirly, and this one I'm just trying to make it a little bit more simple. But you can see where this really is kind of framed. It's just framed in a different way. It's kind of framed on 3 sides, and instead of making my 3 sides this way, which I could, I wanted to do it this way. And so I am going to go ahead and place down my mat. For my pictures, I'm going to use my permanent tape for this. And it's just so easy. These mats are so awesome. I love that they come in this 4.5 by 6.5 size, because then I can just throw one of my 4 by 6 photos on it and not worry about it. And then we have our 4.25 by 4.25, which I thought would work really well with, just a simple 4 by 4 picture. And finally, our mat that we cut down to hold our sticker, which is going to be our title for our page. And I have our Autumn's Leaves and Pumpkin Please sticker here. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and place this one down. I know, I bet y'all thought I was going to pull out the foam squares for that one, but I am not. I'm going to pull out the foam squares, though, for our autumn. That's going to go at the top here. So that way it's kind of going to frame the side of our page a little bit. So let's pull out a couple of these large foam squares. And I think I'm going to add even a couple of the smaller ones. Sometimes when you get to the edges, you just don't know if you need a large one or a small one. You can always go with more small ones, because it seems like we always get more of those in a pack anyways, because of course the large ones take up more space. Here we go. Now, let's see here if I can figure out where exactly I want to put it. There we go. How's about that? All right. So we have our autumn up here, and then our autumn's leaves and pumpkins, which I didn't pull any pumpkins from our embellishments, but we're going to add a few of our leaves coming down our sides of our page here. And some of these leaves are kind of large. I guess maybe we'll put large ones coming down this side and maybe our smaller ones. I don't think the rake is going to work out on this page. Let me grab my micro tip scissors so I can cut this off without having to worry about gooping up my scissors. Here we go. So maybe if we have a couple of the smaller ones on this side, I think I'm going to reverse that because we already have the darker purple there. And how's about putting that little cluster up in the top? Because in that way, we're sort of framing and bringing our eyes into our pictures that we'll be adding in a little bit. So I'm actually going to pop those on the foam squares too. Since we have our autumn up on that one side, I think it makes sense to do the same thing on this other side. And I already have a foam square cut, which should fit. Yep, right there. So sometimes some of the foam squares I've been cutting on the diagonal, and some of them you cut in the middle, and it just varies on what seems to fit with those little smaller spaces sometimes. So give it a try. Try both parts and see what works for you. So here comes our leaves coming out from our little border up here. And then these other ones are just gonna float on down here. I'm not gonna foam square everything today. And grabbing my repositional tape. Whoops. Scooting my parchment board in here again. Let's see which direction should that one go. Probably going out and then over and down. And you kind of want to make sure you have a little bit of whimsy going on as well. So you want to make sure your leaves look like they have a little bit of movement to them. Here we go. So there is that. And yes, Creative Memories does have just great stickers. They are fabulous. They are really thick and they are wonderful along with the embellishments. And so many of them coordinate across the collections, and so many of our collections coordinate across even each other. So we're done. This is it. If you go, I'll link the blog post in my YouTube link, or in my YouTube description box when I put this one on YouTube. But she cut a lot of like 1 inch, or it was like 1 inch by 2 inch pieces to do this. And I thought, you know what, let's make it simple. Let's just use one of our borders, and there we go. It's all done. We're ready for fall. I don't know if you are. It's getting a little bit cooler here, but not too much. But there's a closer look at the layout we got done. Thank you so much, Norma, for letting me know that you liked it. And I hope you all enjoyed seeing my take on the bonus sketch for the virtual challenge this month. Until next time.